Hello, good morning and welcome aboard to AM News. My name is Denise Apomai Jana. Very first story. Confidential documents intercepted by JoyNews has revealed how the board and key management staff of the Minerals Income Investment Fund spent over 11 million cedis on foreign travels in 2024 without government approval. In 2020, the Finance Ministry issued a directive that no public service officer shall travel on official business without prior approval. Such travel shall be subjected to government approval through the Chief of Staff. However, management of MIIF disregarded this administrative guideline. JoyNews' Kwetenate has more in the following report.
According to the confidential report by the Ghana Audit Service, the board and key management of the Minerals Income Investment Fund spent more than 11 million cedis on foreign travel in 2024 without the required approvals. The report stated that the trips were undertaken without prior authorization from the Chief of Staff, the Sector Minister, or the Chief Director. The administrative guidelines for the implementation of foreign travel allowances issued by the Ministry of Finance in October 2020 stipulate that public servants of the rank of Director and below must seek approval from the Sector Minister or, where appropriate, the Chief Director. However, this wasn't the case. According to the auditors, MIIF's disregard for this directive led to the infraction. In response to the audit findings, MIIF's head of human resource indicated that all travels requiring approval from the Chief Executive Officer or Chief Director were duly cleared. He further explained that for international travel requests involving public servants above the director grade, the HR and Administrative Department acted on directives from the CEO's Secretariat, adding that all request memos were available for verification. Former MIIF CEO Edward Nana Yao Cranton, however, stated that the Chief of Staff at the time had been informed of all the trips, but the auditors noted that no correspondence between MIIF and the Chief of Staff was provided to confirm this claim. Speaking before the Public Accounts Committee recently on high expenditure costs on conferences and related activities, acting MIIF CEO Justina Nelson explained that the expenditure was necessary to give the fund the visibility and capacity needed to operate its new office.
What really went into it were a few things, that is the training, the conferences, because it's a mining fund. So we needed to go out to be able to get that visibility and also woo people in, and a few things as well.
Another audit of MIIF's financial statements and annual report revealed that the fund also spent over 2 million cedis on sitting allowances within 2 years. In 2024 alone, 1.2 million cedis was paid as sitting allowances, while almost 1 million cedis was paid in 2023. The board members during the last administration was 9. When JoyNews contacted those cited in the audit, they declined to comment. This is Kwetenate's report.
Now, Gender Minister Dr. Agnes Namu-Molate has clarified that the government is up to date with payments to caterers under the school feeding program. She assured that funds are released on time and payments are made promptly upon receipt of data during a visit to some schools in Tamale benefiting from the program.
The school feeding program is a government initiative aimed at providing meals to students in schools, promoting education and nutrition. In the northern region, 1,019 schools are benefiting under the program. Speaking during a monitoring and assessment of schools benefiting in the northern region, the Minister for Gender, Children and Social Protection, Dr. Agnes Namu-Molate, said the quality of food the President desires for the children is being adhered to.
So far, so very good. There are a few areas for improvement, but I believe that what we have seen today is encouraging. It's not like one food every or a week. but every day they have something delicious and nutritious that they are enjoying. They combine the one that we know, the rice dishes, with the local dishes as well. So it's good to see what they are doing with the little resources available to them. I want to say that the quality His Excellency John Dramani Mahama desired is gradually being, imbibed into the feeding processes.
She said even though there is improvement, there are some challenges that need to be addressed.
The challenges is the uniform bowl or plates, which we've spoken to the MC here to support provide, and so the assembly has agreed that they are going to support, and then reusable spoons, so that they will not have to be using their hands, especially when there is low water. So these are some of the areas we want to improve on.
The municipal chief executive for Sanergu, Abdullahi Imorogong, appealed for more schools in his municipality to be included.
We have appealed to the school feeding authority to increase the numbers, because looking at northern region, Sanergu we are having the most number of schools, the most larger schools here. And most of the schools, especially the Arabic schools, are not captured into the school feeding. We have a lot of applications at my office, and I have a lot of calls from communities for us to engage into the school feeding. So I'm pleading with the ministry and then the school feeding department to increase the numbers, so that next year a lot of students will benefit.
Now, back here in Accra, Deputy Minister of Health Grace Ayinsu Dankwa has emphasized the government's commitment to revitalizing Ghana's blood transfusion system. Speaking at the 25th National Blood Donation and 2026 campaign launch, she highlighted plans to upgrade infrastructure, equipment, and also logistics to ensure timely and equitable access to safe blood nationwide. There's more in the following report.
The Deputy Health Minister stressed the critical importance of voluntary blood donation, urging Ghanaians to participate in the Life-Saving Act. The campaign, held at the National Theatre, aims to promote a culture of regular donation, ensuring a stable blood supply for patients in need.
For a quarter of a century, this day has reminded us of a profound truth. To give blood is to give life. It is an act that restores hope, sustains families, and embodies the highest expression of humanity. Every unit of blood donated represents courage, one Ghanaian choosing to save another, often someone you may never meet. This is true hardship of our nation, a people bound together by solidarity.
Chief Executive Officer of the Blood Donation Service, Dr. Shelley Owusu-Ofori, stressed that blood donation is safe and encourages everyone to donate.
For those who are afraid, I will reassure you that it is a needle prick. It is like a mosquito prick. It is a safe act to do, because the whole process ensures that the donor safety is not compromised and the recipient safety is not compromised.
The Blood Donation Service marks its silver jubilee in providing blood to all who needs it, under the theme, Give Blood, Give Hope. Together, we save lives. Edna Garba's report read to you.
Let me take you up north. Vice-Chancellor of the Simon Diodon Dombo University of Business and Integrated Development, Professor Emmanuel Kanchebe Deribe, has issued a firm warning to non-performing contractors handling key infrastructure projects on campus. Now, he says contractors must speed up work or face legal termination of their contracts. Speaking at the university's fourth graduation ceremony, Professor Deribe emphasized that students and staff deserve an improved teaching and learning environment. He urged contractors without the capacity to complete the project to step aside for more competent firms. There's more in the following report by JoyNews' Rafiq Salam.
Vice-Chancellor of the Simon Diodon Dombo University of Business and Integrated Development Studies, SDD Yobates, Professor Emmanuel Kanchibadereble noted that the biggest challenge faced by the university is deficit in its infrastructure arising from funding challenges which impedes academic work at the university. He asserted that if the university is to achieve the transformational development enshrined in its 5-year strategic plan, meeting certain minimum infrastructure is an imperative. One of the innovative ways to fixing the challenges, according to Professor Emmanuel Dreble, is the Accelerated Get Fund Infrastructure Completion Initiative, started at the beginning of the year and which has begun to bear fruits.
With approval of Council, this special initiative draws on IGF and other funding sources to accelerate the rate of completion of selected priority projects. I am pleased to report that the initiative is yielding some positive results, including the completion of this new auditorium and the 4-story interim central administration block. We are still working hard at our target to complete and move the new interim administration block this year to pave the way for relocating faculties occupying rented premises in town to campus.
While singling out some contractors of the projects for praise, he admonished non-performing contractors to back up or they will have their contracts terminated through legal means.
For those contractors not cooperating enough with us, I want to serve notice that the university has now reached the non-tolerance stage and will take all necessary steps to remedy the situation. Our students and staff also deserve an improved teaching and learning environment now and not later. If you do not have the capacity, commitment, and time for us, it is time to quit the projects for reliable partners to take over.
And still on education, amid declining reading skills at the basic school level, the Ministry of Education has reaffirmed its support for literacy, pledging to strengthen reading habits among Ghanaian children at the maiden I Read Festival in Accra. This comes at a time when educators and literary advocates are expressing concern over poor reading outcomes, with many pupils struggling to meet expected proficiency levels. My colleague Rodelyn Abensa has more in the following report.
The Ministry of Education's renewed push for stronger reading habits among school children was on full display at the maiden I Read Festival in Accra. The event comes at a time when national assessments continue to show worrying declines in foundational literacy, with a significant number of basic school pupils struggling with grade-level reading comprehension. Organized in partnership with the Bachina Junior High School B, the festival forms part of broader efforts to reverse this trend by promoting a consistent reading culture among learners. Held under the theme, Read Today, Lead Tomorrow, pupils participated in spelling bees, reading contests, and writing competitions. Representing the Minister of Education, the Principal Program Officer, Isaac Ataba, underscored government's commitment to scaling up interventions that will strengthen foundational reading skills and also improve learning.
Honorable Minister for Education is highly committed to help students in Ghana to read. And so in Ministry of Education, we have a program that we offer every year that we call National Reading Festival. And of course, this is a reflection of what is happening every year with regards to reading. So the ministry is 100% in support of schools who would engage in reading festival like this.
Some pupils who emerged winners in the contest shared their experiences with JoyNews, urging their peers to develop the love for reading and commending the organizers for providing such an inspiring platform.
Thank you. God richly bless them.
I want to thank them that they have really done well for us, and we are grateful also. So they should keep it up.
They should continue reading because it will help them. When I read, I find new words which will help me.
I encourage them to keep on reading their books so that they can spell better.
The organizers say the festival reinforces ongoing efforts to revive reading among school children and call for greater collaboration to sustain literacy initiatives nationwide. Rodalyn Abensa's report read to you.
Now, the head of Center for Philanthropist Organization, Reverend Emmanuel Mafo, has raised concerns over the heavy reliance on external funding by local philanthropy groups, warning that the practice is weakening their capacity to grow and sustain long-term impact. Speaking at the Women in Philanthropy Conference under the theme, Recognizing and Amplifying the Power of Women Giving, he emphasized the need for organizations to identify their strengths and generate funds locally to complement external support.
Women in Philanthropy Ghana is an organization that brings together women leaders to highlight the contributions of women donors while addressing the barriers that limit their impact. Speaking at the Women in Philanthropy Conference held under the theme, Recognizing and Amplifying the Power of Women Giving, the head of the Center for Strategic Philanthropy and Social Investment at the Pentecost University, Reverend Emmanuel Mafo, noted that the persistent reliance on external sources of funding continue to weaken the capacity of local philanthropists to mobilize resources internally.
The issue about reliance on external source. So most institutions start and their whole strategic focus, maybe 90% is how to get funding externally. And they are not able to look internally, to look within the country, their own community and network to see their strength, how they can also mobilize resources to complement what is coming from external source. So I think those are the key things. And moving forward, as USAID and other organizations are going out, now we are beginning to embrace community philanthropy. We are even looking at a space that was not looked at faith-based. The churches, the faith-based organizations, the Muslim community, they have a huge opportunity to also support this ecosystem.
A philanthropy officer with the African Women's Development Fund, Ifwa Japoma, also emphasized that building credibility, gaining trust, and attracting sustainable funding remain some of the most pressing challenges confronting women in philanthropy.
The funds keep dwindling, and so there's a lot of trust issues in terms of if you're giving your money out to somebody to do something, a good cause, how do you trust the person to do the work? And so it comes with a lot of credibility and trust, and this is something that we are building on daily. It's not something that comes so easily, and so you entrust people with resources, and you also trust that they have signed up to do.
As women philanthropists continue to face obstacles, including limited local funding, stakeholders are calling for deliberate efforts to strengthen local resource mobilization and build stronger support systems to help ensure that women donors are empowered to drive impactful change across the country. Ramat Bashir's report read to you.
Oh, apologies for that. It's now time for some business news. Ahanta Pele, Samuel Kujubris will bring you that.
Well, let's do some business updates now. And economist Professor Peter Kotte has stated that the current economic climate still gives room for a further cut in the policy rate as the Monetary Policy Committee begins its meeting to announce a new rate. According to Professor Kotte, interest rate is still high despite the consistent drop in inflation and the policy rate. This, he believes, has created some liquid rigidity in the market, thereby increasing the cost of borrowing. Speaking to Joy Business, Professor Kotte ruled out any increase in the lending rate.
Economy is overheating. I don't expect an increase, an upward adjustment in the policy rate. Inflation has been fairly low. Actually, there's not much overheating in the economy. And I would expect a decline, a reduction in the policy rate, or we stay the policy rate, but not an upward adjustment. And I say so because interest rates are still high, in as much as inflation is declining, in as much as the policy rate is declining. There is some rigidity in terms of the lending rates on the market. It's still on the high side, and therefore that is not stimulating credit for the private sector to borrow, invest, grow, and employ more people as one would have expected.
Away from that, the Chief Executive of Trade Aid Africa, Nicholas Apekora, says the removal of the 15% tariff previously imposed by Trump administration on cocoa and other agricultural products from Ghana will significantly boost exporters' profit margins. Speaking to Joy Business, he welcomed the policy reversal and noted that the benefits are expected to trickle down to farmers across the value chain.
It will improve our margins because, you see, that was an additional cost. The 50% was an additional cost to us, which we actually were struggling with. And so now that is not there, that cost is no longer there. So if we were, still selling at our old price, it means that we are going to make extra income. So, and that will also help us to pay the producers better. We can pay our pineapple, pickers, we can pay our mango pickers, and other people, others who are involved in those commodity value chains. We can definitely pay them better, and then they can also have a better standard of living.
Well, that's all in Business Update this morning. Back to you, Denesia Poma.
Thank you, Ahanta Pili. That's it for AM News. Don't forget that if you want more news, please log on to myjoyonline.com. My name is Denise Apomaje. Up next is sports. Enjoy the rest of your day.